They called 2025 the year of the $100 million house. Sounds like hyperbole until you see the listings, the closed deals, and the land sales that pushed nine-figure residential real estate from rumor to reality. What happened in 2025 that made $100 million not just an occasional headline, but a global pattern? Stay with me, and by the end, you'll understand the buyers, the sellers, the pricing mechanics, and the legal blind spots that turned super prime homes into a distinct asset class. Start with the numbers. In 2025, several major outlets described a marked increase in nine-figure residential listings and transactions. Brokerage analyses documented an unprecedented count of 100 million plus US listings and a record number of nine-figure deals worldwide. South Florida emerged as the single most active U.S. market for nine-figure activity. Palm Beach, Naples, Miami's ultra-exclusive islands and enclaves like Indian Creek saw a cluster of 100 million plus transactions and listings. Los Angeles and Beverly Hills remained perennial hubs. Manhattan had notable downtown and transitional market activity. Aspen continued to attract trophy buyers, and Dubai's Palm Jumeirah entered the fray with multi-villa assemblages priced at nine figures. But here's the thing. Listing counts rose even faster than closed sales. Many 200 million plus listings were aspirational, a marketing signal that a property is uniquely rare, while confirmed 200 million plus closings remained rare and had to be verified against county records. So the shorthand, the year of the $100 million house, reflects both a real spike in closed deals above 100 million and an explosion of nine-figure list prices that reshaped the headlines. Even within the US, different markets had different conversion rates from list to close, and that tells us as much about buyer psychology as it does about supply. So why did buyers write nine-figure checks in 2025? Motives were layered. Tax and residency shifts were a big driver. Florida, with no state income tax, attracted wealth migration. Brokers noted several high net worth individuals relocated or established Florida residency and bought trophy estates there. Internationally, Dubai's policy and tax environment, plus its infrastructure and lifestyle offering, seduced wealthy buyers looking for a fiscal base or a second home in a business-friendly yet lifestyle-oriented jurisdiction. Migration isn't the whole story. Ultra-high net worth individuals and family offices increasingly view trophy real estate as a portfolio hedge, a tangible asset that holds prestige, can be held in hard currency, and often benefits from luxury, amenity, inflation, private beaches, staff wings, helipads, multi-unit compounds. Privacy and security also matter. Large estates that can be segmented into private compounds are worth more to people seeking discretion and a secure, self-contained living environment. There's also a strategic assemblage motive. Some buyers, or developers acting for buyers, pursued multi-parcel purchases to create one-of-a-kind compounds that could only command nine figures once assembled and branded as a singular estate. Would you pay a premium for the one property in a neighborhood no one else can replicate? Many buyers did. Supply at the extreme end expanded, and not in small ways. Developers began to offer branded 100 million plus estates, multiple villa compounds with concierge services, private staff housing, and bespoke amenities that read more like tiny resorts than private homes. In Dubai, a mid-year sale of a mega plot on Palm Jumeirah was reported at roughly $100 million and marketed as the site for 5 luxury villas. That deal and others signaled that developers were willing to create nine-figure product rather than rely on single villa supply constraints. Vacant land assemblages are crucial. Many nine-figure valuations reflect scarcity value of undeveloped waterfront land, particularly where zoning or geography limits new buildable lots. When large tracts came to market, sometimes off-market, the headline price tags shot past 100 million because buyers were buying potential, the right to develop a compound or divide into ultra-high ticket villa footprints. Sellers also tested the market with sky-high listings to create a perception of scarcity. Even if several of those list prices never converted to a sale at the same number, they recalibrated what buyers considered normal in super prime markets. Pricing at this level operates in a different universe. A large share of nine-figure deals were negotiated off-market. Off-market transactions let buyer and seller transact privately, avoid public theatrics, and often speed up negotiations crucial for buyers who value discretion. Cash buyers, family offices, sovereign wealth funds, and billionaires were able to offer fast closings and less conditionality, which often justified premiums. Foreign capital flows also mattered. Cross-border liquidity, sometimes routed through intermediaries or trust structures, provided buyers with the ability to pay in cash and outcompete financed offers. Amenity inflation is real. Buyers paid premiums for configurations that simply don't exist in most markets. Private beaches, several separate villas within a single gated compound, staff wings, private marinas, and helipads. Those bundled amenity sets create unique valuations. Now, this is crucial. The gap between list price and sale price widened. There were more 200 million plus listings in 2025 than ever before, but the number of confirmed 200 million plus closed sales remained small. Analysts emphasized that many ultra-high listings were marketing artifacts, powerful positioning by sellers, while 100 million plus closed sales were still rare enough to be newsworthy. Would a cash buyer pay a 10 to 20% premium to avoid publicity? In many cases, yes, and that drove headline prices higher. But where there's money, there's opacity. The use of anonymous LLCs, trusts, and offshore vehicles was a recurring theme in reporting on 2025's nine-figure deals. Many properties sold at nine figures were recorded in the names of LLCs or special purpose vehicles. That complicates efforts to trace beneficial owners, verify tax liabilities, or apply anti-money laundering checks. The problem is structural. Deed records and many foreign registries capture the immediate buyer entity, not the ultimate human owner. This isn't theoretical. Journalistic investigations and public records searches in 2025 found multiple examples where high-value purchases were routed through newly formed LLCs with registered agents, making it difficult for journalists, regulators, and investigators to identify the true buyer quickly. That raises several risks. Tax enforcement becomes harder when ownership is opaque. AML and sanctions regimes may be circumvented if beneficial ownership is masked, and public transparency erodes when politically sensitive purchases are hidden behind corporate facades. But anonymous ownership is legal in many jurisdictions, and legitimate privacy and estate planning reasons exist for using trusts and LLCs. The enforcement challenge is distinguishing lawful privacy planning from deliberate concealment of illicit flows. That requires stronger beneficial owner registries, cross-border data sharing, and targeted investigative audits, precisely the policy responses experts began to call for more loudly in 2025. What does the rise of the $100 million house mean beyond glossy headlines? First, optics. Nine-figure homes amplify public perceptions of inequality. Big sales can cause local political pressure on property tax, policy, land use, and community access. Cities and counties find themselves grappling with whether such homes are contributing fairly to local revenue needs when ownership is opaque and occupancy can be intermittent. Second, tax policy and enforcement. Authorities face a choice: rely on existing property tax frameworks and hope for voluntary compliance, or push for new transparency mechanisms. In 2025, calls grew for beneficial ownership registries, stricter AML controls on real estate agents and lawyers, and improved cross-border cooperation. Forensic accountants and investigators saw rising demand for sophisticated property transaction analysis tools to trace funds and beneficial ownership through multiple layers of entities. Third, market durability versus aspiration. Are we seeing a permanent new tier of luxury real estate pricing, or a bubble driven by a handful of wealthy buyers and developers testing extremes? The evidence is mixed.